Fight fans, welcome back to Carl Prusa MMA. My guest today, getting ready, fighting the upcoming season of the Dana White Contender Series. He's going into battle on August 18th, taking on Douglas Rodrigues. They call him the Terminator. He is Mr. Trent Miller. Trent, what's up, my friend? How are you?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So last year, you had the chance to be on the Contender Series as well. Didn't go your way, but pretty cool to get the opportunity to do it again.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, last year, it was less than a week notice. I had a different fight lined up the weekend before, and I was getting ready, so I was in shape, prepared for the exact opposite opponent. I was preparing to fight a D1 wrestler, ended up fighting a guy with heavy hands that was more of a striker. So my whole camp was preparing for the opposite scenario. You know, no excuses. I felt confident. I felt like I had what it took to get the win, but it didn't go my way. Thankfully, Ryan Gondres went out there and went 2-0 in the UFC so far and had some quick finishes. And, I keep saying, everyone that people have been asking me, I'm like, well, I took way more punches before I went down.
There you go. You're a really fun fighter to watch. When you look at your topology, it's nothing but finishes, man. You go in there, you're looking for the kill. How much pride do you take in that style?
Man, I mean, it's fun to get knockouts. I mean, it's exciting for the people watching. It's also exciting for me. I want to, every time I go into a fight, my goal is to add another one to the highlight reel. If I can land a big overhand right and put him to sleep, like, that's always the goal. Or even a head kick. I did one of those once too.
Absolutely. You're repping it on your shirt. You train at Extreme Couture, one of the best gyms in the world over in Las Vegas. What's it like being with those killers on a day in, day out basis?
Man, I strongly believe Extreme Couture is one of the best gyms in the world, surrounded by top talent. I mean, the champion of the world in my weight class is at my gym. So I train with that man, Sean Strickland, pretty often, and a lot of other big names too. Like, I've had rounds with Edmund Shabazian recently and Sam Alvey, who just defended his karate combat title. There's a lot of big names through there. I mean, even when France was defending his UFC title against Cyril Gane, like, I got some rounds in with him. And that was fun to be able to talk about it now, not fun in the moment.
No, I'm sure. I feel like the fans, they see the big names. They see the Stricklands and the Chris Curtises and then Ganus, and they see the fame, the fortune, the glory, the girls. When you're battling it out on the regional scene, man, you're not making Conor McGregor money. You're staying up late. You're waking up early. You're missing birthdays, weddings, Thanksgivings, dinners. All of your eggs are in this basket trying to get to the next level. You've been sacrificing your own whole journey. What's made you want to keep doing this?
Man, I love it. I wake up every day excited to train, excited to improve my skills. And, I don't do it for the money. I do it because I love what I do. A wise man said, if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. And that's how it feels when I get to do what I do. I work another job outside of fighting right now, but the goal is to make fighting the full-time thing. And I'm right there on the doorstep, like, about to make it happen.
For you, do you feel fighting is more mental than is physical?
I mean, it's definitely both. Like, I have to prepare my body to be in the best physical shape possible. You have to be strong. You have to have good cardio. You have to be tough and be able to take damage. But there's also that mental aspect, because you take that damage, yeah, your body might give out on you, but most people's mind breaks before their body breaks. And you got to be able to have that mental toughness to keep going forward, even when you've been hit. And that's not easy for most people to do. There's a lot of armchair experts out there that always talk shit whenever I've had a bad performance or whatever, and I know they've never stepped foot in a gym or even got punched in the face once, so they have no idea what it's like. I've had fights that I won where I got hit and didn't remember like 30 seconds of the fight because I got hit. Getting asked in the cage afterwards, like, oh, it looked like you were hurt there for a second. What happened? And I was like, I was never hurt, until I watched film back at the hotel right after and was like, oh, damn, I did a backflip and rolled around for 30 seconds before I got up and beat him. I had no recollection of that right after the fight. So, it's funny how these people that have never been in there, never trained, don't realize like what it's like being in there, and especially with another trained killer. And getting hit and having to come forward and keep fighting after that is not the easiest thing to do. That's for sure.
Following the loss in the Contender Series against Gondra last year, you found yourself back in the regional scene trying to get back here. What was that time like in your life?
Man, there was a good month or two after that Contender Series loss that was real tough mentally to get my head back in the game and keep chugging forward towards the goal of getting in the UFC. And it wasn't easy for sure, but I've come so far, and I'm not going to give up now. And I know I have what it takes because, again, I train with some of the best guys in the world, and I do well against them in the gym. So I know I can do it. It's just a matter of putting those pieces together and making it happen on the big stage. And I went through it in my head over and over again, rewatched the fight, figured out things I did wrong, things I can do better. And I feel like, I cleared the cobwebs, signed up for another fight, went out there, got a finish, made it happen. And, my confidence at another level now. And I feel like a whole different fighter than I was a year ago.
You made your return January, took on Tyler Smith. Beautiful victory there in the second round. Following that contest, once you got the finish, did you have a feeling that was enough to get back on the Contender?
I wasn't sure. I definitely thought it was a good finish and thought they would like it. And there was a chance. I thought I would need to get another fight, maybe another win before the Contenders offer came up again. And I did have another fight scheduled. I was going to go to fight in South Korea against another former Contender Series opponent. And then about a month before that happened, I got a call to do Contenders again, and it didn't really make sense to do that fight anymore. So I was getting ready to fight again. I mean, I want to be as active as possible. Since I went amateur, I've averaged at least 3 fights a year, sometimes 4, between my amateur and pro career. Like, I've tried to stay consistent since I started, and that's the goal. I want to be active. And once I get to the UFC, I want to stay active and keep lining up fights.
Where were you at when you got the phone call that you're going to be on the Contender again?
I don't remember where I was. I can't remember if my coach just came up to me and told me while I was at the gym, or if he just called me and let me know while I was at home. But yeah, I mean, I was, like I said, getting ready for a fight, training, felt good, felt ready for whatever, and got that call and was super excited, super happy to get back into it. And now, I don't have that. It wasn't short notice like last year where it was less than a week. Now it's like I had several months to get ready, and it felt good.
So you're taking on Douglas Rodrigues this time, another Brazilian fighter. Overall, what do you think of him as an opponent?
I mean, I think anyone that's getting a shot in Contender Series is going to be a tough opponent. Definitely seems like he's game, and I've watched a few of his fights. He has pretty good kickboxing, throws hard punches, throws some pretty good kicks. I do think his kickboxing is good, and I'm going to have to, pressure him and make him make mistakes and catch him. I believe I have a more complete skill set. I think, his only path to victory is on the feet. I think I can win it on the feet, or I can win it on the ground. I think I have better jiu-jitsu and wrestling than he does, and I think I hit a lot harder than he does. So I think I can win it wherever the fight goes. I just got to, do everything properly and not make mistakes and not get caught early like I did last year in Contenders.
If anyone's watched the Contender Series, you've heard it from Dana, you've heard it from the commentators. They want finishes. They want guys absolutely going for it, showing how bad they want that contract. When you look at your record, when you look at his record, there's a lot of finishes. There's not a lot of going backwards, a lot of going forwards. Do you feel that this fight is what the Contender Series is about?
I definitely do. I think guys like me and him are the guys they want, that are going out there looking to get finishes and looking to put their opponents out. It's what they want. They don't want someone that's going to take them down and just lay on them. I think, thankfully, when I do wrestle and get on top, I go for the finish. I don't just lay there. So even if I do have a wrestling heavy game plan, I think it is what they would want to see. And who knows though? I don't rely on my grappling very often because I like standing and striking and winging big overhands and going for the finish. So we'll see what mood strikes me when I get in there.
Absolutely. You know, the Contender Series, as you know, it's like a show like no other. You literally open a door, no one's saying your name, hardly anyone's in there, no music, you fight. Being there once, experiencing that crazy environment, you feel more comfortable going to this one?
Oh yeah, I definitely do. It's again, like you said, it's a way different environment than you'll experience at any of your other regional level fights. Uh, yeah, I've had some regional fights that were big venues, and I've had some regional fights that were smaller venues, but nothing like what's at the Apex. You don't have a walkout song when you walk out for Contender Series. That's a little different. Not that I ever listen to my song necessarily anyways while I'm walking out. I'm too focused, but it is a different vibe and lots of cameras in your face. Uh, it's a totally different vibe. And having went through it once, at least I know what to expect. I'm not going to be surprised. I remember last year when they called me out, one, in the back room, there's only 5 people on each side, which is a lot less than most events. And I was the last fight of the night, and I'm just back there by myself getting ready for a little while before I went out there, and all alone, just me and my coach. And then I go out there, all these cameras in my face. Again, the vibe felt so different than anything I was used to. And it was almost a shock before the shock of getting in the cage. And now knowing what to expect and having been through it before, I think it'll be a lot easier to make that transition walking out to the cage.
You know, during this roller coaster journey of being a fighter, you've experienced highs, you've experienced lows. How do you think you've grown and evolved as a person from competing in martial arts?
Man, I think there's not much that can be compared in the world to competing in martial arts and getting in the cage with someone and, being kill or be killed in there. It's a difficult mindset to get into for majority of the people. I don't think most people could do it. And it's very character building. I think every time I went out there and got a finish as amateur or pro, like every time I went out there and got another fight, there was another level of confidence in myself that grew, not just as a fighter, but as a person. I mean, it's definitely a character building experience, even taking the losses and having to, bounce back from that. I think it was I can't remember if Rocky or Apollo Creed said it. It was, it's not how many times you get knocked down, but how many times you get back up. So that's definitely a character building experience, getting knocked down and having to get back up and trudge forward again. And I've been able to do it several times. I've had a few losses now and come back and got wins right after. So I know I'm capable and just got to use the tools I know I have and put them to work.
And you talked about it a little earlier in the interview. Now there's a lot of people with opinions. If you go on Instagram, if you go on X, if you go to the bar, a lot of people think they're fighters. They like to yell, twist them, and you know what? They have all these different takes. Casual fans. And don't get me wrong, we need the casual fans. There's nothing wrong with being a casual fan. Sometimes you see some craziness. You've probably experienced it now after the Contender Series, probably seen your name mentioned in some comments. What do you make of this just craziness?
Oh, yeah. I've had, especially after last year's Contenders fight, man, my inbox was blowing up with messages from all these strongly opinionated people that would never step in a cage or put themselves on the line like that in any aspect of their lives, probably. There were some good comments too, though. I had some people reach out and were saying encouraging things and wished me success in my future endeavors, but that was like rare. The most outspoken people are usually the negative people, unfortunately. And I literally had like a grandma that looked like she was like 70 DM me and say like, "Don't quit your day job," and was talking shit. And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like I went to her profile and it was just very old lady and pictures of her dog. I was like, I'm surprised you even watched combat sports. Like it was very interesting.
Oh, I think for the most part, fans like that, they're understanding, you're getting on the Contender Series, trying to get in the UFC to win belts and all that. But very few people understand the fight outside of the fight. And to me, that's a fight not to clock in at 9 o'clock in the morning, clock in at 5 p.m. That's that fight to secure financial freedom. It's that fight to live life on your terms. Is this part of your journey?
Definitely. I mean, again, I fight because I love what I do and I want to make it the full-time thing. I think every regional level fighter has to work another job. Like it doesn't pay the bills right now. And the goal is to make it pay the bills. And, I wouldn't trade any part of this journey that's happened to me for anything. I've loved every part of it, the wins, the losses, the ups and downs. And, it's made me to the man that I am today. And I'm very proud of the man I am today. And I don't even remember the question now.
No, very good. For you, do you ever think of that moment after the fight, you, 4 other winners, Dana White looking at you, hey, kid, come get your contract?
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that happening this time around. Really excited about it. I definitely feel like I need to get some redemption after last performance. I hate for the one time that he's seen me fight, it went the way it did, because I know I'm a much better fighter than that. I know I can do so much better, and I can do big things in the sport. So I'm real excited for that moment.
What would it mean for you to get a UFC contract?
Man, it would mean so much to me, and would mean so much to my family. I have a wife. I'm about to be a dad this year. Having a daughter. She's due late November. So I want to be able to, when she comes to into this world, like, be on my path to making more money in my sport and being able to better support myself and my family.
What do you want your daughter to take away from this journey?
I mean, ideally, I come out of my fights still looking pretty like this and not too busted up, because I don't want her to have to see her dad like that too often.
There you go. For you, what's the ultimate goal? What are you looking to accomplish in this sport?
I mean, the ultimate goal is to become the world champ. Like, I train with the world champ in my weight class right now, and I've seen the work he's had to put in to get there, and I'm trying to emulate that myself and become that next champion one day. I still got a long way to go. Got to rack up some more wins, but I definitely believe I have what it takes to get there. I just got to keep grinding, keep pushing away, and make it happen.
When you're with the guys like Strickland, all the other big killers, do you get to see all elements of the game? Obviously, the grappling, the striking, the training, but do you see the business side, how to conduct yourself, how to handle the media? Is this other things you learn from those guys?
Yeah, I could definitely take more lessons than that and be more controversial. It's it's not easy for me to be the most controversial man. I'm pretty straightforward, pretty honest man. It's hard for me to be someone that I'm not. I'm not a trash talker. I respect anybody that steps into the cage with me. If they go and talk trash to me, that's a little bit different. I can pick it up if they're throwing it at me. I can throw it back, but I'm not going to be the instigator in most of those circumstances. But yeah, I mean, seeing those guys, I definitely see that nowadays a whole new level of the game. You have to be entertaining on the mic too. You can't just be a fighter. So that's definitely something I'm trying to work on implementing myself, and we'll be doing more of once I get to the UFC too.
For you, what does it mean to call yourself a martial artist?
I mean, it means a lot to call myself a martial artist. When I was growing up as a kid, I watched old Chuck Liddell defending the title, and I watched old Mike Tyson clips, him fighting, and I was like, man, these guys are so badass. I want to be that badass when I grow up. And I've been working my way towards that goal ever since then. I mean, it definitely feels awesome to be the martial artist I am today. And, I think it's a never ending journey to, people say they're a master of karate or whatever, but you're never a master. There's always something to learn. There's always more to learn. And I think I'm forever a student of the game, and I embrace every part of it. And I'm very happy with the martial artist I've become, but I can only get better. And I see so many aspects where I can improve. And I like that I can just keep improving, and that there's so many things to work on all the time, especially in a sport like MMA. It's not as simple as boxing where it's just your hands. There's so many different tools that need to be worked on, and there's never end to it. You can always get better.
Absolutely. All right, Trent, last question from me, my friend. In a perfect world, what is the outcome August 18th when you make your return to the Dana White Contender Series against Douglas Rodrigues?
Man, a perfect world is we touch gloves. The first punch I throw puts him to sleep. Uh, I think I'm capable of that. Do I think that's going to happen? No, I think he's tough. I think he's going to be able to take a few shots before he goes down. I think the ideal scenario is a round or two of me putting the pressure on him and hurting him over and over again until his body and mind starts to quit, and then getting on top and putting the finishing touches in while the ref pulls me off.
Absolutely. Well, Trent, man, thank you so much for taking time out of camp to talk with me. Very much well deserved to be back here, and I wish nothing but the best, brother.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me, man.
Absolutely. That's it for us. Damn, Carl Perusa. He's the Terminator. He's Mr. Trent Miller, looking for that UFC contract August 18th, Dana White Contender Series, taking on Douglas Rodrigues. Don't believe fight fans. It's going to be a fun one. Take care.